I really shouldn't be fucking telling the story if I'm being honest. Guess who pulls in? The police. That was not water in the bottle. It was pure vodka. I felt like I was having to operate like a human being on manual mode. Look at the... And I just start puking everywhere. Everybody starts looking at me. And I'm like, what is going on? Today I'm going to tell the story of when I bought marijuana as a teenager. This is a R18 channel, okay? If you're a little pipsqueak, get the fuck out. This was a degenerate time period for me. And I was sitting there with my friend, and we were going to get freaky by buying some. So he knew somebody whose house we had to go to. Now, this person lived in the middle of buttfuck nowhere, a bit of a shady part of town. Can I just get a break? Mash shine? Fucking mash shine my cock, smash like. So we drove to this guy's place where we were going to buy the marijuana, right? The zaza, that Mary Jane, that sweet... that good shit. And we went to the ATM machine in the middle of buttfuck nowhere. So we literally pulled into some random car park. There was nobody else in the car park. And my mate gets out the car and gets the cash. And then we get back in the car. Now, some context before I tell you what happens next. When you buy Zaza, my friend, he was a fiend for it, okay? I kind of just tagged along to his little adventures, okay? I was not a Zaza-aholic. As much as you may think I'm a chronic drug abuser, that's not me. All I do is play Clash, all right? I'm more PG than I've ever been. And so, basically, he usually brings something called a grinder. You put the Zaza in it, and you grind it all up. You know what I mean? You grind it all up. And so these little grinders have, like, residues of Zaza. It's what you do with the Zaza, right? Now, Kenny Wenny realized that this one time, my slime forgot the grinder. So this one time, we were like, fuck. We don't have the grinder. We left it at home. And then all of a sudden, just as my mate gets back to the car, guess who pulls in? The police. The police just happen to be roaming about for no reason at all in this car park. They pull in because we look suspicious, basically. And so as we're sitting there in the car, I'm like, oh fuck, we are on our way to buying illicit material and police pull over into car park that we are in. Now, as a silly, scared little teenager, I'm quaking in my boots. I'm like, oh no, I don't really know what's in my friend's car. And so the police pull up, they come right up to us and they say, how you going, mate? And we're like, officer, how you going? And that's pretty much how we all speak in Australia, for the record. And he's like, you boys up to much tonight? And we were like, no, officer, of course not. We're just playing Clash and doing a bunch of family-friendly things as usual. And they're saying, why don't you two step out the fucking car? So we comply with the officers, the pigs. We get out the car and they do a little search. Meanwhile, I'm risen up the police officer. I'm like, maybe if I make good chats with them, they'll let me go if they find something in the car. So I'm like, how is your night going, lads? Having a good one? Caught any criminals? So I'm chatting up the police officer, trying to win them over. So if they do find anything, maybe it's a little bit, relaxed. But I remember, oh shit, this is the one time my friend didn't bring the grinder, which would have immediately incriminated us. And I was thinking, like, oh shit, like, I don't want to go to fucking prison, man. Obviously, I'm not going to go to prison, but these are the thoughts I'm having. I'm like, basically, I'm more scared, like, I don't want, like, my parents to find out, like, it's just not a good look. You know what I mean? It's just not a good look getting, I don't know, in trouble for drug possession and shit like that. But we don't have any on us. Now, the only thing I'm thinking is about the grinder and whatever else is in the fucking car. And so they search it and they eventually come out with something. He pulls out like a little sachet thing like this. Now, I don't know what the fuck my friend, what it is. I don't know if my friend was doing some other drug. He did like to dabble, I'm not going to lie. And I'm like, what the fuck when I see that? Because I didn't even know it was in the car. They come out with a little sachet and like, we going to talk about this, boys? We going to talk about this? And I'm like, mama. And then I just like say nothing. He says nothing. And I'm pretty sure he had, but I don't know. I don't know what it was. And eventually they're like, boys, we're going to need to see some ID, some identification. And I'm like, oh, fuck. No. What if mommy and daddy find out that Kenny Wenny's been put on the record by the police? I don't know what the fuck. Even to this day, I actually don't know why. I don't know if I'm on some kind of watch list for, like, potentially committing a crime. But they don't do anything. They they say, all right, boys, we're going to let you off this one fucking time, but better not catch you up to no good. And we're like, yes, officer, never going to happen. I mean, we're like, yes, officer, it'll never happen again. We haven't really committed any crime, but we just won't do anything ever again. We'll just be a good law-abiding citizen. Yep. And so I remember when we got in the car, on our way to buy shit, by the way, I was shook. I feel like God just shined a light down on me and said, here, redeem yourself. Now, I had two options. One, I could become Walter White and start cooking meth. And two, I could start playing Clash Royale. And I took the route more traveled. I remember, like, in the car, I was like, oh my God, like, we were on our way to buying it. And it was the one time we didn't bring the grinder. It was the one time. And I just couldn't believe it. It was like one of those moments where you're like, thank fucking God we got away with that. Kenny Wenny is a bad, naughty teenager who got up to no good. But I'll have you know, I was a good boy. I was turned bad. Against my will, I was forced to do a bunch of, God, just drugs and, well, not really. I actually only did Zaza. But my God, just shows you the peer pressure exists. I remember in school when they told me about peer pressure, I'm like, yeah, right. Like, I'm just going to be like, guys, like, if I'm with my friends and they're like, all right, we're all going to do the drug right now. I'm not going to be like, oh, go on then, I have to. If everyone's doing it, I'm going to be like, no, it's a drug and I don't want to do it. And then then it happens. Then it actually happens for real, and you realize, fuck, I'm just a sheep. I'm just a sheep. I have no control of what I actually want to do. And that's when I realized peer pressure is actually very real. And write that one down, kids. Don't be like Kenny. Play Clash before drug. I make it sound like I'm in rehab or something. Look, I'm a pretty normal guy. I feel like a lot of people get up to bad things sometimes in their early learning years. There's something legal in California, which is illegal where I live. So I made the very smart decision of deciding to hit one of those weed pens before I went through the airport by myself, which you can already tell sounds like a really, really smart idea. And I've kind of talked about how that shit makes you feel before. It's very like, it makes you feel kind of like socially anxious, and it can make you feel like everything's kind of going in slow motion and you're kind of very aware of what people are thinking of you, or at least you're just paranoid. You think people are thinking things. This was a bad idea because the airport is a place that I feel already a little bit like I need to get to my flight, and that's already a stressful experience because obviously you pay money for your flight. If you miss your flight, that's on you. I'm by myself in a different country. I need to find my flight. I need to get to the terminal. And so I managed to find where, like, I dropped off my bag, then I went up the escalator to TSA to check in my bag. To my dismay, there was a big queue. So I put my headphones in and I stood in the line. I was very socially paranoid, and so I put my my AirPods in. And I was like, okay, I just hope that nobody looks at me. Nobody looks my way, and I can just get through. I can just have my earbuds in, listen to my music. And so I play music on my phone with my earpods in, and I start getting paranoid for some reason that people are looking at me. So I'm like, I feel like in my periphery, people are looking at me, but I'm like, Ken, you're paranoid. Like, think logically, this cannot be happening. And so I keep listening to my music for another few seconds. And then I notice, like, even the person behind me is looking back at me. And I'm kind of like, okay, I can't be paranoid. What's going on? Like, please, guys, please leave me alone. What the fuck is this? Some kind of like, I don't know, like, not horror movie. That's a bit traumatic, but like, just like nightmare situation where I'm at the airport and I'm already paranoid, and this is just going terribly. And so I'm like, what the fuck's going on? Because everybody starts looking at me, and I'm like, what is going on? Like, did I get announced on the fucking telecom? Am I tweaking out? And then I realize my music is not playing through my headphones. So everybody is listening to the song I'm playing. And I hated that. I hated that so much. I felt so embarrassed. Everybody was looking at me. Everybody knew what I was listening to, and like it's dead quiet in these lines. Nobody's talking. Everybody's like just kind of looking around, and then everybody looking at me. And so I'm like, I would hate that even if I was sober. But this was like terrible. I hated this. And then the woman behind me looks at me. She's like 38 or something. I kind of go, oh my God, like I didn't realize, like hoping she'd laugh along with me. Like, oh my God, like I didn't realize. And she just kind of like looked at me like this and then looked forwards. And I'm like, okay, great. So that's just the worst thing that could have happened in that situation. Why couldn't you have just like been like, oh, no worries. Just before I had put my headphones back in, she turns around and she starts yipping and yapping. She's like, oh, where are you heading to? And I'm like, I'm not going to be like, oh, like Australia, and just put my headphones back in. So I say, oh, I try to be friendly, but I don't kind of like ask any questions. I don't, I guess, encourage the conversation. This is the last thing I want, just to talk to some random at the airport, just because of my mood. Like, you look at me, I'm a friendly face. All right, like, I love a chat. Just not this one time. It's just the one time I didn't want to chat. Because I honestly, and I've said this before, I felt like I was having to operate like a human being on manual mode. That's how it feels sometimes on that Za. Like, you feel like you're like fitting in amongst the other human beings. You know, you're really struggling to operate as a human being. And she talks to me, this woman talks to me the whole way. She just keeps talking to me the whole way through the line. And I'm like, I'm really struggling to like, keep up with the conversation, and I'm so like fried that I can't think of a way out. Like, I can't think of an escape plan of how to stop it without coming across incredibly rude. I was just very paranoid in that moment. I was thinking a lot of things, so I was just kind of like, I don't think I made it clear that I wasn't really looking to chat, just because I was struggling to even communicate with her, to like figure out answers in my brain. Like, I was struggling to think of answers that I could actually say because I was so fucking geeked. We eventually get to the front of the line, and she goes through airport security, and I get through airport security, and I'm like, okay, now just to get to my terminal. And then she's waiting for me. She's waiting for me, and I'm like, okay, all right, great. So we get to keep chatting. She's like, I don't really know where my terminal is. Do you mind like helping me like spot it out or whatever? So we go to the screens. They are like the screens that show you what's happening with all the flights and shit. And I'm like, man, I just want to get to my terminal and sit down. And so I'm like helping her find her flight. And then eventually I'm like, hey, like, okay, I'm sorry. Like, I really have to go. My flight's leaving soon. And then she kind of gets the memo. So she's like, okay, really nice to meet you. And I was like, nice to meet you. And so I leave. And then somebody recognized me at the airport. And I'm fried. So I'm like paranoid. Like, why is somebody else coming up to me? I just didn't, it was just like not what I wanted in this moment. I feel like I wasn't rude in the way I interacted with this guy. But he was like, oh, like, you're Ken, right? Ken from Clash. And I was like, yeah, man. How you doing? I'm not gonna lie, like, I really need to get to my terminal right now, so I can't really stand around. And he was like, yeah, man, like, I understand. And I don't know, I felt like I kind of disappointed him, which kind of sucked. So then I don't know if he's gonna be watching this. So then I told him, hey man, I'm not gonna lie, I've been trying to help this woman get to the terminal, and I'm drunk as fuck. But I didn't want to say I'm zooted, because I would never say something like that on the internet. That is a terrible influence. And that was the whole story. So it wasn't really like a, a fucking Tarantino movie or anything, or a Nolan feature film, but that's what everybody wanted to know. And I told everyone it wasn't going to be crazy, but I just wanted to share that just so nobody would spam release the LA files anymore, you know? Don't do drugs, kids. Don't do drugs, and don't do drugs at an airport. No bueno. What song were you listening to at the airport? It was a 21 Savage song, and it was like the most vile lyrics ever, like, that came on out of my headphones. It was so embarrassing. Many moons ago, Supercell made the unwise decision of inviting me along with a few other Clash Royale YouTubers to the World Finals. The Clash Royale World Finals is an event at the end of the year where all the best players play. They also invite a bunch of YouTubers, which basically means we sit there and do fuck all. And it's the best week of the whole year, I'll say that, because all you do is get free alcohol, which obviously I don't indulge in, and I've never even drank a bottle of beer in my life because I'm a role model and alcohol is bad for you. But anyway, Cashman wakes up really late one day of the CRL World Finals. It might have been the last day or the second last day, and we stay at the Creator Hotel, which basically is a 20-minute bus ride from the Clash Royale World Finals, right? And so we usually stay up late drinking, doing things that are not drinking but also not gay. And so we stayed up really late, and by this point I woke up at like 11 a.m. I'm feeling groggy as shit. Cashman's still asleep by this point, and it's like 2 p.m. in the afternoon. So I'm like, fuck this. Okay, I'm the CRL like finals has literally started and he's still asleep. So I'm gonna go to his room and wake him up. But obviously we could not go to the finals sober. That is a ridiculous idea, of course. And so there's no alcohol allowed in the World Finals. You're not allowed to bring any alcohol in. So we found a little plastic water bottle, and I said, all right, Cashman, like, get ready, shower, I'm gonna be back in a bit. And then after that, I came back up, and he told me he'd got the alcohol ready, like we were gonna smuggle it in. I really shouldn't be fucking telling the story if I'm being honest. Make sure to watch to the end. That's my retention tactics, so you guys stay tuned for the story. Cashman had smuggled the alcohol, allegedly. That's what he told me. So when I went back to his room, He was kind of getting out of the shower. I was waiting outside. I hate how everything just has gay undertones, man. But anyway, here we are. And so I'm like, oh, fuck. I haven't drank some water in a while. I'm thirsty as shit. So I grab this like water bottle while he's in the shower and I go for a massive fucking swig. That was a mistake. That was not water in the bottle. It was pure vodka. So I was like, as soon as I fucking drank that, I don't know if, okay, look, I don't encourage alcohol. In fact, I despise alcohol. I hate alcohol. But anyway, it's not the nicest feeling in the world because it's pretty much just like petrol. So that fucked me up immediately and I was like, Cashman, what the fuck? Why would you put the water bottle, make it look so convincing and leave it out? Like I get, it's going to do the job. It's going to get us past like people that check the bags and whatnot. We wanted to get even more degenerate. We wanted to indulge in something called nicotine. Well, when I say we, I mean somebody other than me who was in this story who I'm not going to name. But I'm sure you can guess out of the two characters in the story who it was. Anyway, that person wanted to get Zins, which is like nicotine that you put in your gum. Really good for gum cancer. Shout out gum cancer. And he got that shit. And he was like, oh, you want to try one? Because he does them, and I don't. And I was like, you know what? I've had a swig. I'm feeling a little crazy right now. Fuck it. I'm in Finland. Let's go a little crazy, man. Let's put some nicotine in my gums. Bit of vodka, bit of nicotine. So I fucking shove that little patch of nicotine in my this story is a really good one. I should not be telling this, but anyway, I put this in my mouth and now I'm buzzing, man. I've got energy. And so we're like, all right, let's go to the fucking world finals now, man. I'm locked and loaded. So we get I think we get an Uber because we missed the bus or whatever because it usually comes late, and we've successfully hidden our water bottle in the backpack. We are fully prepared to get loose at the world finals, okay? See that Clash Royale fucking shit in 8K vision. And we get in the Uber, and all of a sudden I'm like, I feel like I'm like breathing heavy. I'm like, oh my god, like this sin shit is like, try not to feel nauseous right now, you know? It's making me feel a little bit. And then Cashman's just laughing at me because he's used to that shit, the prick. But I'm trying my best to be the Sigma male you know and love today. I'm sitting there and I'm huffing and puffing. Cashman's laughing and Cashman's yapping my absolute ear off. That guy, fuck me, he does not stop talking to save his life. And so he's talking and I'm like, Cash, honestly, dude, like, I'm just gonna need a minute. And he just starts laughing and I just stare out the window. But things do not get much better. It's a long drive and I feel every bump. Believe me, I feel every fucking little speed bump we go over in this car. It's almost like the driver was taking sharp turns on purpose. I swear to fucking God. Like, I've never had such a bumpy car ride in my entire goddamn life. And then we got to the event and I'm not feeling any better. If anything, I'm feeling worse. I need to make this context clear for what happens next. The sign is there. Pretend the sign is the back of the room and you are the CRL World Finals. I am about to go into you. And so there's the sign and the limestone wall is like anywhere, like either side here, okay? The limestone wall is either side. I'm like, Cashman, I don't know if I can do this, man. And he's laughing at me and shit. And then eventually I'm like, all right, just like go over to the limestone wall. Here's the thing, if they know you're drunk, it's like a bouncer, right? If they know you're drunk, they won't let you in. Fucking Clash Royale World Finals degenerate story. They won't let you in, right? So I'm like, okay, I need to also appear like I'm Bing chilling. So I lean on the limestone wall, pretending to look at the snow and the beauty of Finland, Helsinki. Wow, it's a magical place. Look at the snowflakes. Look at the CRL World Finals. Look at the... And I just start puking everywhere. But I'm like, I puke, and then I look back up the sign like, wow, as if I'm... Wow, look at that. I'm trying to make it low key so that the bouncer does not realize. And Cashman's standing there very awkwardly because he's like, oh God, this guy's fucking throwing up. And the bouncers do not seem to notice. And so our big, exciting adventure story that was meant to be one to remember was definitely one to remember because I kept throwing up into the limestone looking at the sign and it did actually help. It did actually help. I felt a lot better. Here's a pro tip. Throwing up is a good thing. It's getting the shit out of your system. So I'm throwing up and eventually the bodyguards do not even... The bodyguards? What am I fucking... I don't even know. The bouncers, okay? The bouncers of the CR World Finals do not notice. They're far enough away, and I'm just that so low-key and nonchalant that they couldn't figure it out. The only problem is
I am no longer in any fit condition to drink alcohol, and so, Lord forbid, I had to enjoy the World Finals sober. I know. Travesty. Absolute devastating scenes.